Blog Talk Radio.
Carol the Coach. Sex, love, and relationships. We talk about it here.
Carol the Coach. Compassion with contemporary relevance.
I am a psychotherapist. I can be your personal life coach, and I can help you with your issues. There are no problems too small or too big. You can talk about anything.
Speaker, columnist, radio TV host, and commentator. Carol the Coach brings messages of wellness and empowerment within reach of everyday people every day.
Almost 5 years ago, I lost my soulmate in an accident. He was killed in a plane crash. Life just, for me, has seemed to stop.
There are groups all over the city. I teach one. It is a specific way to start thinking so that you shift how you see the world, which then shifts your energy, and then you feel better and you actually see things differently.
Carol the Coach. Always available, too, at carolthecoach.com.
Now, I've got Russell on the line.
I'm 47 years old. I'm a truck driver. I'm married. I have a wife in San Francisco.
Okay.
I haven't been home in 6 months. My thing is, I don't know if I have a sex addiction or what the problem is. Why do I want what I can't have? And as soon as I can have it, I don't want it anymore.
You're right on target when you say, I don't know if I have a sexual addiction. Well, guess what? Yes, you do. And you know what? That's my specialty, Russell, so you're at the right place. Continue.
I meet women online, and I'm in a different part of the country. I travel all 48 states, so I love sex.
I hear self-esteem issues. You never felt good enough, and you didn't feel like you were getting what you should have then, and you're reenacting that now. Do you want to change that about yourself?
You get what you need.
I got an interesting email this week
from a woman who wanted to be on the show, and we are going to feature her in a couple of weeks because I got to tell you, she is an amazing partner who wants to get back to the community. And that's what it's all about. It's about post-traumatic growth. And that's why we are so happy when people are willing to give back and share what is going on in their life and how they got where they are. Because truly, you don't typically want to be on the show unless you need some help or you've got something to offer. And today we're going to be talking about the body bears the burden. And we're going to be with Janice Caudill. Dr. Janice Caudill, an amazing author of Full Disclosure, an entire series for addicts and partners to know how to do that process. And today she's going to be talking about how they have created a workshop to help partners to learn from partner betrayal, trauma, and grieve the losses with other women, claim and give voice to their body, honor their story, honor their body, and honor themselves. So she'll be joining us in just a few minutes, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. She really is an amazing resource for people that want to know how they can get healthier. That is so important. Now, I know that you may be listening, you may be an addict wishing your wife could get healthier. You may be a partner trying to understand his addiction. Or you may, too, be wondering what you can do to feel better about this situation. So that's why we are talking to you today. We really try to offer a variety of services for our listeners so that they can really get healthier, manage their addiction or the betrayal trauma, and if they want to stay together, improve their coupleship, and if they don't, well, we want them to be able to be their whole person, right? That's what Unleashing Your Power is about. It's moving through the trauma of partner betrayal. And that's what this workshop is about that we're going to be hearing about. Now, I talked about it on another show, but I'm going to tell you that the most unusual thing happened to me this weekend. Well, actually, it was this week. And that was that a client told me there was a Help Her Heal book study that was on on the SAA-recovery.org website. I said to him, no way. There is no way that my literature is on a book study because it's not 12-step approved. And he said, Carol, I think I know what I saw. And he said, you look it up. It's Sunday today at 7 o'clock. So if you want to go to a Help Her Heal book study, you can do that by going to SAA-recovery.org. And that is the amazing thing about the Internet. You know, the Internet has caused so many problems, but it's also connected us to resources that we need. If you can't hear my iced tea, I am trying to drink iced tea and rehydrate. I was out on the boat today. It was a beautiful day, 80 degrees, and for 4 weeks I've been inviting friends over saying, this is the last day, it's the last day, it's really hot, come enjoy the sun, the boat, and maybe the trees as they start to change. I am in Indianapolis, so we've got full fall here. And luckily, I always get a few takers. And that's what I live for, right? So you may be asking me, what am I doing? And I am doing a lot of interesting things. I am developing an online course for Help Them Heal. It should be available in the next couple of months. I've already got a PowerPoint of about 300 slides, and we're going to break that up into modules, and you're going to get to work through my book by going online and studying the course. And I'm going to be teaching New Zealanders and people from Australia and the UK all about ERCM, the Early Recovery Couples Empathy Model, that actually teaches the important relationship skills that you need before you even begin this work. So that's this week. And then I am just so happy to announce that I am going to be on faculty at the CSAT organization, ITAP, and I'm going to be teaching sex addicts about relational repair. So it doesn't get much better than that. And I feel so lucky that I have these opportunities. You know, we are all pioneers in the field, and you are too. Now, let me just give you an example of that. When you are in your 12-step meeting and you explain to the fellowship that you are letting your wife see your 3 circles, you may meet some resistance, and they may mistakenly say to you, hey, that's between you and us and your sponsor. But the truth is, it's the relational problem. This is about your partner too. And we've been encouraged at ERCM, the Early Recovery Couples Empathy Model, that you share your 3 circles with her if she wants to know about them, because it will help her feel safe. Yep. And she may have a couple of things that she thinks would be helpful too, both for your recovery and also to promote a good relational connection. Now, that's not how it's been, but you know, when you know better, you do better, and that is the new model. And we want you to feel really comfortable. Okay, so here's what I know. That we're going to take a quick break, and then we got Dr. Janice Caudill coming on. All right. We'll see you soon. Well, we're waiting to see you soon, that's for sure. So we're having a little technical difficulty. I am going to see what the deal is. She's actually saying she's having trouble getting on. So I'm going to share with her, just call in. We have a Zoom process, and that Zoom process helps us to see each other so we don't step on each other. And that's important because you don't want to talk over somebody. And, you know, I've done it before. I've done it a lot. I think they've stopped and they need to talk further. So we found that if we do the call-in thing and also watch as they're getting ready to end the sentence, we know when to get in. And I love that. But there's always opportunities for people to figure out how to make the show work better. And so that's what we've done. And now we've got Dr. Janice Caudill on, who is going to be talking about this special workshop that they have spent a lot of time creating, both for the partner as well as it's in conjunction with a survey to help us gain research on what is going on in the lives of partners. How does the body bear the burden of partner betrayal? So, Dr. Caudill, can I just call you Janice since you're one of my best friends?
You absolutely can.
Well, thank you. What an exciting project you have going on. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's something I've actually wanted to do for a long time, long before COVID. I had the title there. And it's really sort of geared by how many partners are also dealing with ongoing health problems, formal diagnoses or multiple diagnoses or symptoms that are popping up all over the place. Often that, began after discovery or at a minimum just accelerated after discovery. And we know that the body keeps score, but there's not a lot, in my experience, there's not a lot of formal, what do you do about it? How do you deal with it in actually partner programs? So I found a few colleagues who have some of the same passion for that than I do, and we decided to start.
Well, you emphasize the body keeps the score, and this workshop is called The Body Bears the Burden. And
it is, yes.
And you're talking trauma. You're talking when partners discover that their husbands or wives, whoever, have this whole secret identity, and they've been acting out. Their body naturally and normally takes a hit. Now, not everybody suffers from trauma, but you and I know that the majority of partners do experience trauma. And, boy, they don't know necessarily how to navigate that. And this workshop is for them, correct?
Absolutely. It's for women who have been betrayed, who are experiencing betrayal trauma, for a long time, for a short time, yesterday. And we're also having to manage the impact on the body. It's a dual recovery, and they complicate each other. Yeah.
Well, and I know that what I'm so excited about is that be with other women, and they'll figure out that they're not alone in their own body sensations, what that trauma response looks like, how their brain processes that information. And so they'll find out that what they're experiencing is normal, and you help walk them through how they can get healthy by grieving the losses with other women on a similar journey and claiming and giving voice to their body so that they're not bearing the burden all by themselves. So tell us how they can actually find out more about this workshop.
They can go to intensivehope.com and click on our workshops page. There's a link to a survey if you don't want to participate in the workshop, but you want to pay it forward knowledge-wise, because we're also seeking to learn information that not only helps partners but helps those of us who work with them. Or you can read about the workshop itself on that page and decide if you'd like to join us in January.
Well, and that is January 14th. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't it 9 to 3 Central Standard Time?
9 to 3 Central, 10 to 4 Eastern, and the other time zones I'm dyslexic, and I'll probably mess them up if I try to do.
I think that gives enough information. But so there's two things they can do on your website. They can sign up for the workshop, and it's a steal deal. We're not allowed to talk prices over the air, but it is a cost-effective way of learning how to work through all this. But like you said, and I am always talking about, we need more research. We need to find out how people have been affected, how women have been affected by the partner betrayal trauma, and how their body has cellularly taken in this information, taken in the shock, and what is happening as a result. And let's face it, Janice, you are an expert on how the body does keep the score. Can you tell our listening audience a little bit about what partners typically experience, not only after discovery, but as they're trying to navigate the whole process of what they're going to do in their life, what they're going to do with their partner, and how they're going to cope?
Well, I think the analogy for the partner work is kind of Humpty Dumpty. Everything, you fall off the wall and everything feels shattered. And trying to figure out if you even can put yourself back together again is hard enough. But, the recovery process itself, I think, is maybe on an ongoing basis, day in, day out, might be more stressful for some people than the discovery process. So there's everyday ongoing kind of stress. So there's tons of chemicals kind of floating through your body that, can easily get depleted over time. If anybody's already had some trauma in their life beforehand, you've got some markers. But from a nervous system perspective, it's kind of like you're on the road and you get triggered and suddenly you floor it. And your body's going at the pace, the stress pace of, 180 kind of, and then can suddenly stop. And the brakes are locked. And every time that happens, there's all kinds of we're flooded with all kinds of chemicals. Okay? You can only handle that kind of pace for so long before it starts really impacting the engine. And over time, for a lot of the partners that I work with who maybe have been in the process for years, the shutdowns get longer and longer, and it gets harder and harder to rev up and kind of get through the day. They're energy cycles. Okay? And more, just actually getting done what you have to get done to sort of keep everything going becomes where you have to channel your energy. Things that fall through the cracks are the very things that you and I most want our partners to be able to do, to really focus on themselves, to focus on healthy emotional self-care, to focus on healthy physical self-care. And, there's not a ton of help, I think, for this, at least from the partners I've worked with in the traditional medical community. I have so many who've sought all kinds of alternative treatments for help. Multiple doctors giving totally different ideas. No idea sometimes what the actual kind of problems are. And so part of what I really, really wanted from providing this workshop is not just information. Not all the people who are going to be hosting the workshop have, either been on their own path or have been in the medical world in some aspect. But I really wanted the opportunity for partners to meet each other. One of the things that I specifically asked about in the survey was how many people in their structured recovery activities, groups, therapy, had actually focused on more than just kind of saying, yes, the body keeps score, the body bears the burden, actual specific focus on health as a part of betrayal recovery. And very few have it. So that was my guess, and that's what the survey is saying, that the partners find each other, but it's not really a part of the formal recovery program to begin with. And I had also suspected that very contact, where the fact that, yes, I'm dealing with a personal recovery, yes, I'm dealing with a couple's recovery, but I'm also dealing with physical kinds of problems that not everybody in my group can really understand. I've always sensed that would be really important. You and I saw that in the partner community as the partner groups kind of came up, how important that is. And the survey's still in the kind of baby phases, but we're also hoping that women learn from each other and we learn from them about what actually is helpful. And so far, of all the different kinds of treatments that we listed and asking what's been the most helpful, the number one thing that's most helpful is support groups. So our hope is if we can now have support groups that are really specifically designed for some of the disorders that our partners are working through, that we have we've upped the healing process significantly for them. And my hope for the workshop is that every woman will come away with 5 names of somebody and contact information of somebody they really related to. And now I've got somebody else who's on the same journey I'm on.
Right, and they get that individual support thereafter and perhaps even join some other workshops and groups. I mean, I know that we're talking your workshop on January 14th. I know that may seem far off, but that's right around the corner. It's right around the holidays. It's January 4th from 9 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you've got, 7 healers that are going to be working with the women and giving information all about how to grieve, claim, and honor your health after betrayal. Now, what I really like is that this is a workshop for them, and yet you have other events that you are promoting, some of which are free. And so if you go to that website, and again, that's www.intensivehope.com, and it will show you the workshop, The Body Bears the Burden, Grieve, Claim, and Honor Your Health After Betrayal. If you scroll down to the bottom, as part of some events that are attached to this, there are also free workshops too. And so it's really, I can tell that your passion is to bring these women together, to educate them, to empower them, and to create a community for them of other women that have been through this together. You talk about honoring your story, honoring your body, and honoring yourself. Now, what does that mean? Because I know you put this thing together. How can they honor their story, their body, and themselves?
Well, the body has a story to tell as well. And if I'm a partner, before I even know that there's something to discover, my body picks up that something's off. I may not have time between kids and job and, relationship, and to really focus on that. And maybe if I did anyway, it would be really confusing because I wouldn't be able perhaps to see anything, But, gaslighting, unfortunately, the type of gaslighting that partners experience doesn't come with a particular smell, that cues you to it. But the way the body-brain works is about, 85 to 94% of the pathway in the body, brain-body connection, goes 85 to 90% goes from the body up to the brain. The body takes in information first and tries to make sense of it. I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not going to be able to generate emotions about it, but my body can. Even before the words. And if I'm if in discovery, I've already established, my body's already established. It's already taking the burden. I may not be able to fully, express and heal my emotional experience until I tap into my body experience as well. We tend to have it all segregated in our culture, that for physical things, I'm going to go over here to this group of people and deal with. For my emotional things, I'm going to go with, look for an APSATS clinician or an APSATS coach. But there's acknowledgement sometimes in both places, but there's not a place where everything meets. There's not a crossroads. And so part of what we want to do is actually have that crossroads in our workshop so that I can learn how my body expresses emotion or wanted to but couldn't. And I can, just like our partner stories of discovery, of disclosure, of betrayal, that really want to give a voice to. Well, the body needs for us to give a voice to its story too. It can't really heal until it's voiced. You know that with our partners that they need to find their voices. They need to be heard. They need to be validated. Okay? That's a really important part of healing. Like, it only, in my experience, happens in little piecemeal ways when it's the body impact itself. So it's not just that we want to help the women in the workshop. We want to learn from women, and we want to use that information to create some resources that everyone can use. My greatest hope in doing this is that not only the women in the workshop feel validated, they feel heard, they maybe understand some things about their body story that they couldn't put words to before, and that they learn some things about how to honor their body and their health in a way that complements the emotional healing. I want them to, if I'm struggling with all kinds of mysterious GI problems, I want them to, and if I'm that partner, I want to come out of it and I want to meet 3 or 4 people who really get it, and 3 or 4 people, because I'm struggling with the same things, that I can really get them and give to them. My greatest joy is if people are long after the workshop, they have found another little mini tribe with that. And we also have part of our healers have had their own journey, so we get it too. It's one of the reasons why I really appreciate you doing the call for people to sign up early, because part of what we want to provide is not just the healers talking, but literally opportunities for breakouts with people dealing with similar issues. So it takes a little bit more advanced time to kind of figure who has similar issues so that we can provide the appropriate breakout rooms, all coach-led.
Right.
Yeah. And then we're also, we're already compiling resources that we want for our workshop for participants in order to get those to them. But there's, Carol, in your workshops, there's like a ton of wealth of treasure that happens sometimes on those chats of resources. Somebody puts out like the need for a resource and somebody else, in the audience has just the right thing. We want to make all of that information accessible in a way, not just for our workshop participants, but for anyone who has a body bears the burden story.
Well, you're exactly right, and we always learn from the people that we work with. That's the beauty of this work. So I want to tell you who you can, you're going to meet the healers, and obviously Caudill, Dr. Janice Caudill, will be talking. She's a psychologist and a somatic experiencing practitioner, and that's who we're talking to today. And then Karen Norwood, who is also a somatic experiencing body worker. I mean, she does massage therapy, so she really has a hands-on knowledge from working with women that have been through trauma. We've got Laura Flynn, who is also a therapist and a coach who has lots of experience in this. Julie StOnges, who does brain spotting. So she understands trauma and how to specifically help women through brain spotting to resolve a lot of that trauma. Linda Frank, who is a somatic experiencing practitioner and social worker. Now, you have to help me. Is it Elia Markham?
Elia.
I knew
Isn't
that
a
wasn't right. But
yeah.
Yeah, she is an amazing brain spotting practitioner and coach. And then Judy, help me with this one too. It's Alvarado.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
She also is an expert in trauma. So you've got these 7 women helping women to identify how their body has taken on trauma, specifically betrayal trauma. And then you heard Janice say that after people share their story, what's been going on with them, they're going to be able to be put in breakout groups that really specifically meet their needs, and we're all going to learn from each other, right, Janice? I mean, yes, we've got 7 healers, but the community already has a lot of expertise in how the body bears the burden.
Yeah, but isn't that always, Carol, isn't that the way partners really rose up to say, hey, this is trauma, and it's through their voices that, we're in a really different era for partner trauma recognition and healing. I would love for, a few years down the road for these types of workshops, these types of connections to, add another piece to that story. And my hope is that, that we learn a lot from this one, that I learn a lot, that all the healers learn a lot, participants. But I'd love to have a series. The body takes it in so many ways. It takes it physically, but it also takes it in body image. And it takes it in the impact on sexuality. It's just it really is the crossroads where everything comes together. So, and since we have so many kind of somatic kind of healers on our team, including the brain spotting healers, and Julie, by the way, is also a nurse. We're coming at it from a lot of different perspectives, and including the healing journey that we've all been on with our own bodies.
Mm-hmm. And some of us, like I'm not a partner, but I understand how my body has really taken on much of the stress from different traumas in my life. So I agree with you. This is a wonderful opportunity. Again, that's January 14th from 9 to 3 Central Standard Time for women to get together and to talk about how the body bears the burden. And again, if you're interested, you're going to learn from partner betrayal and grieve the losses with other partners on a similar journey. You're going to claim and give voice to your body bears the burden path. And you're going to honor your story, your body, and yourself. And you and I know, Janice, that it's all about self-care. Janice and I have been on a board. Janice was one of the founding members of APSATS, which it's just amazing that APSATS, the premier partner-sensitive association that trains people about partner sensitivity and trauma, APSATS has been there from the start saying, hey, you're experiencing trauma, and here's how you can manage that and get healthier no matter what your life, no matter how your life unfolds, whether you stay with him, leave him, separate from him, that part doesn't matter. It's about you taking care of yourself. And, you know, there's never been a better organization to educate and support partners than APSATS. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I say that APSATS is the heart of partner trauma healing. This fantastic group of people advocating for.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me just be sad about one thing, and that is that this is for only women, which is a great thing, but our men that are partners also really say we need more resources too. Janice, do you think that men experience the same trauma and the same body burdens that women do?
Yes, actually, I do. I think it might be expressed a little bit differently because of sort of gender dynamics and socialization and, you know, sort of the masculinity box. But let me maybe the body bears the burden isn't about women. But the reason that it's a women's workshop is that we know that women feel safer to some degree in a similar sex, and it was about connection. But let me tell you where the title came from. It was chosen really very specifically. The body bears the burden. I can't remember the entire part of the title. Is actually a book that was published quite a few years ago by Dr. Robert Scarer, who was, I may get his story wrong, but my understanding is he was a neurologist who had this specialty clinic for whiplash recovery. And his clinic is where doctors would send their clients when they tried everything and it didn't work. And even at his clinic, this is a very difficult kind of thing to treat. And he hooked up with a man named Peter Levine. Peter is the originator of somatic experiencing and really helped revolutionize part of our understanding about how trauma works. And Peter talked him into doing a different history and actually including on his medical history trauma. And again, this isn't about women, this is people. And what he discovered is that almost all of the very difficult to treat whiplash, clients that they were treating just for the latest car wreck, they all had significant histories of trauma. Like the body does bear the burden, and it compounds over time. So it was important to me that we chose that title. And now he's recently passed, but Dr. Scarer went from calling himself the neurologist, he trained in somatics work, and began to call himself a traumatologist. And so he's kind of an example to me of the bridge between medical and psychological.
Mm-hmm.
But his work wasn't originally on women. It was just on, people, two-legged critters. So I absolutely think it has an impact on men.
Well, and I would agree, too. And but again, I want women to know that right now this is for you only. And the very cool thing about this is that we know that you will get a lot out of this workshop because you have experienced body breakdowns along with the betrayal trauma. And this webinar is packed with support, education, information, and a lot of holistic views and all sorts of exercises and tools to cope with and honor the health issues that you've had resulting from and associated with the trauma. And you and I both know, Janice, that partners oftentimes feel like their brain is going crazy because they can't speak, they have dysthymia, or their executive functioning isn't working and they can't make decisions. And then, as you keep saying, over time, it almost seems like without getting the support they really, really need, their body starts to break down in different ways. But this is all reversible with understanding, education, intentional self-care. And that's what this workshop is going to do. It's going to talk to you about what you need to get healthy again and to be separate from what happened to you. I always say, Janice, we don't want our partners defined by partner betrayal. We want them to be whole again.
Yeah.
And that is possible with education and support.
Yeah, and a piece that's really important part of this as well, it's not just the healers listening and hearing or the participants in the workshop being heard by other participants in the workshop. There's also a focus on how to be your own advocate, how to be heard, how to seek those in the medical community, even if it's alternative medicine, who will listen, and how to speak so that you can be heard in that community as well.
Okay, and so again, this workshop you can find by going to www.intensivehope.com. It's called The Body Bears the Burden, Grieve, Claim, and Honor Your Health After Betrayal, January 14th from 9 to 3 p.m. Sign up now. Get it on your calendar. Don't put this off. We know partners tend to let life get in their way, and they put themselves last. And this is what you need to better understand and navigate what you're experiencing. And then, as if that weren't enough, we really do want you to take that Body Bears the Burden survey because we need more information. And that first survey will focus mainly on physical health, but you can get there by going to Janice's website again, intensivehope.com. And it's so important for surveys to gain the information they need to know what you need so that we can do it better. And I just really appreciate all the work you've done, Janice, and the group of healers that you have, and this community of partners that want to support each other. So thank you so much for offering this for our listening audience today.
And thank you for letting me put it out there, Carolyn. And I look forward to seeing at least some of the listeners on January 14th.
Absolutely. So I'm going to replay this show. I want you to know I think this is so important. I'll probably replay it over Christmas. But in the meantime, don't put it off. www.intensivehope.com. Look for that workshop. And Janice, thank you for everything you do. You're one of my heroes, and you know it.
Thank you, Carol.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll talk more later. And for our listening audience, this woman is she's really somebody who's able to keep her finger on the pulse of what partners need. So that's www.intensivehope.com. And as I say at the end of every show, there's only going to be one of you at all times. Fearlessly have the courage to say, to be yourself, and I'm going to ask you to take care of yourself. This is one way that you can do it. The body bears the burden. Go to that workshop and sign up. We'll see you next week for more Sex Health with Carol the Coach. Make it a good one.